Hi, it's Betty. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going among the missing, into forgotten shadows, and talk about the disappearance of Merle Glen Saul. On December 15th, 2015, a man named Merle Glen Saul disappeared from the streets of Omaha, Nebraska. He wasn't famous. He didn't make headlines. He was homeless. He was indigenous. He was a U.S. Army veteran. And in the eyes of many, he was invisible. But Merle had a name, a history, and people who loved him. And this is his story, one that echoes far beyond a cold winter night. Merle Glen Saul was born in 1965 and was a proud member of the Omaha tribe of Nebraska. His life, like many in his community, was marked by hardship and resilience. Friends and relatives recall Merle as quiet but gentle, deeply spiritual, and proud of his indigenous heritage. But over time, personal challenges, including mental health struggles, systemic neglect, and poverty, led Merle into homelessness. He became a familiar face on the streets of Omaha, especially in areas where others like him sought refuge, community, and shelter from the elements. Merle wasn't just another homeless man. He was someone's brother, uncle, and friend. The last confirmed sighting of Merle Glen Saul was on December 15th, 2015 in Omaha. Winter had gripped the city. Temperatures hovered near freezing. Witnesses saw him walking in the downtown area, and after that he was never seen again. He wasn't carrying much, no ID, no phone, just the clothes on his back and a black backpack. When he failed to show up at shelters he frequented, concern slowly began to build. But it would take time, too much time, before anyone truly started asking, "Where is Merle?" Unlike high-profile missing person cases, Merle's disappearance wasn't met with urgency. His status as a homeless indigenous man meant his case received little attention from local media or law enforcement. Family and tribal members raised the alarm. Posters were made. Inquiries were sent to shelters, hospitals, and morgues. Yet days turned to weeks with no new information. The deeper tragedy? Merle's disappearance was treated as routine, another name in a forgotten file. Merle's story is part of a much larger and heartbreaking pattern. Native Americans make up just over 1% of the U.S. population, but indigenous people, especially women and those in vulnerable situations, disappear at disproportionate rates. The MMIP crisis, missing and murdered indigenous persons, is a national emergency. Many of these cases go unresolved, undocumented, or uninvestigated due to jurisdictional confusion, racial bias, and a lack of proper resources. Homeless indigenous individuals, like Merle, are among the most at risk and often the most ignored. In Omaha, the homeless population includes many Native individuals who lack access to consistent housing, health care, and support services. Advocates argue that the city and the state have failed to adequately protect and serve this vulnerable population. Outreach workers who once saw Merle recall a man who kept to himself but appreciated small kindnesses, a warm cup of coffee, a gentle greeting. After he vanished, local shelters confirmed he hadn't checked in. Hospitals had no record. The cold winter took lives that year. Could Merle have been among them, buried by frost and forgotten by systems meant to help? Though years have passed, Merle's family has never stopped searching. His relatives continue to ask questions, post online, and hold ceremonies in his honor. The Omaha tribe has spoken out, demanding more accountability and better protection for their people. For Merle's loved ones, the uncertainty is its own kind of torment. They don't want pity, they want answers and justice. Merle Glen Saul's disappearance matters because every life matters. His story is a mirror reflecting our collective failure to protect the most vulnerable. If we can forget Merle, how many others are we forgetting too? This is not just a story about one missing man. It's a call to action for better resources, for Indigenous justice, for compassion. Merle didn't choose to disappear, but we can choose not to look away. Merle Glen Saul vanished on a cold December day in 2015, but his story is still being written. It lives in the hearts of those who loved him, in the voices of those demanding justice, and in the eyes of everyone who refuses to let the forgotten remain invisible. If you have any information on the disappearance of Merle Glen Saul, contact the Omaha Police Department or your local MMIP organization. Even the smallest tip can make the biggest difference. The contact information will be in the description box below. You can help find Merle Glen Saul. You can make a difference. Together we can all make a difference. Let's bring Merle home, or at the very least, bring him the dignity of being remembered. Thank you. Thanks for your help. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, if you received a caring, hopeful feeling from it, if it touched your heart, please subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, and if you'd like, leave a respectful comment in the comments below. Again, thank you for being here, and until next time, bye.